is to really feel your senses.
Yes.
And, as a dancer, of course, you practice that a lot. But a lot of people cut themselves off at the neck. They don't want to know what the rest of them is doing.
Kind of walking heads, and and maybe they visit their genitals once in a while, but for the most part, I agree. We are taught as adults in Western society to be in our brain, to be in our logical brain, as you said, to be reasonable, and that's the only kind of knowledge that's validated. And you're talking about a deeper, more primal, more organic, more visceral knowledge.
Exactly. And there's a lot of things to be learned by reclaiming that. It's not, we've made the body sinful, or not good, when really it's got its own intelligence.
It does.
And it's taken millions of years for the cells to get together and create this body, and it's rich in knowing that will help you in the spiritual path. And so I'm a believer that the body is part of the spiritual growth and spiritual understanding, not something to be rejected.
I think that is huge, Meredith. Absolutely huge. How many of us have been taught to deny our bodies, hide our bodies, feel body shame? Very, very, very common. But the idea that that the body is part of one's spiritual development.
And the thing about belly dancing is that it embraces a lot of different kinds of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
There are very voluptuous belly dancers and very skinny ones and old ones, and it's not quite so severe about accepting, even as performers, a one-type body says it all. So it makes room for that feminine acceptance. Like the cover of my book has a picture of my torso. Not now, but when I was like 30. But I wanted it to look like the shape of a woman without my head, a woman's shape. And the roundness of belly dancing and the roundness of a woman's body speaks of inclusiveness. Anything that a circle symbolizes, connectedness, the cycles of life. I like to say in a real circle, in a sacred circle, when you have a group together, everyone has to see everyone's eyes.
Yes.
Nobody's the head of it. We're all equal. And those kind of feelings arise from doing this dance, especially with other women. You make this kind of sisterhood that's connected. And the dance emulates childbirth when you do belly rolls and belly flutters. It's really, women used to do belly dancing to strengthen their bodies for childbirth.
Wow. And also to get their bodies back in shape after childbirth.
Absolutely.
And after menopause and that belly fat that's so unhealthy, and just accept the natural round curves of a woman, and at the same time make sure that we have strong muscles.
Yes.
Yeah. So you actually are teaching in Long Beach or somewhere else?
In Cedarhurst.
Oh, in Cedarhurst. Okay.
Yeah. But I do mostly workshops now because I'm giving talks on my book, and
how wonderful.
I want to spread the word of this book, basically because I had a very luminous experience in meditation. And that's what, if people don't know what that word means, I had to learn that word recently. But it means when you have a glimpse of glory, an enlightened moment, something that shifts your whole belief system.
Wow.
And I know that many people have this sort of thing because I joined an organization called the Noetic Science, which is about gnosis and knowing. But this is why I wrote the book, because I want to share, not so much just about a story of my life or the story of dancing. I want to share that knowing that I experienced, that spiritual, life-changing moment. And I talk about it in Chapter 4 in detail. And
I find
I'm compelled to encourage people to, however they do it, however they find themselves, to find that connection with the divine.
I find this very inspiring, Meredith, and I enjoy taking my fitness classes, and a couple of them are dance classes as well, but not what you are describing. And I remember years ago when I did take your classes, and I never, other than your class many years ago, I have not really taken belly dancing lessons. And I find that very interesting. And I always noticed when you look at belly dancers performing that they are round and they're not skinny. Some of them can be, but what I noticed was not only in their roundness, there was a great deal of unself-consciousness in their roundness.
You got it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And incredible moving and fluidity of movement in a person who might be judged as having extra weight. But
absolutely, there are some gorgeous dancers that are heavier. And it's kind of like more interesting in some ways if they really dance well, because it kind of surprises you how beautiful and elegant the feminine form is. And not to be, like you said, have body shame about having breasts and a belly and a butt, and being round in those places, because those breasts are life-giving breasts. And that belly is the cradle of civilization.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
But even when women haven't given literal birth, they still need to see it as spiritual birth. Because when you're doing your bliss in life, whatever that is for you, you're birthing your creativity.
Beautiful. Spiritual birth. I love that. So, Meredith Narissi, can you give us information about how to contact you for speaking engagements and also to get your book? You have a website?
I am working on a new one, but I do have meredithnarissi.com right now.
Okay.
But I'm getting an author website that will be out soon. But my book is on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And, of course, if people love the book, I would love the best review they feel they can give it, because we got to spread the word. And I do appreciate that you mentioned speaking engagements and workshops, because that's a very intimate way to to reach people and interact and that sort of thing. So they can reach me that way, or can I give my phone number, or do you suggest that I give my email?
It's completely up to you.
Okay, my phone number is 516-456-7665. That's 516-456-7665.
And I imagine your workshops and speaking engagements on your book, 7 Veils, Mystical Secrets of a Feminine Path to Enlightenment, are also participatory. You don't just sit there lecturing people sitting in chairs, right?
No. You know me.
Yes.
No, it's definitely participatory. The last, I taught a retreat on the 7 Veils, and, people bring their wisdom to the situation. We always learn from one another. So, that's the beauty of it.
Right.
That we enrich one another. Your whole show about relationships. This book is about your relationship to other women and to men, and even your relationship to yourself and your relationship to the divine.
Yes.
So we're in relationship to all those things, and
Relationship to the divine, and we're not alone. I'm curious what a man would be thinking listening to the show right now. And wouldn't it be lovely to have a woman who was in love with her body, in love with her life, in love with the world, in love with nature, in love with you, in love with movement? And wouldn't it be lovely if everyone felt more mind-body connected?
Absolutely. And like the dance is a little bit about, it's about inviting the male in. The dance was used in the past at weddings to show the bride how to be loving and seductive to her husband and to awaken him to the beauty of a woman. So you have to learn to use your hands in a way as if you're caressing someone. Your hands move like that. So every part of the dance speaks to something about, really enhancing your feminine knowing. And I want to tell you one little thing. When I was writing, I realized the word feminine is the word in it twice. In.
Yes.
So what are the differences between men and women? I think is that women are very internal.
Right.
Even physically, they go in, and the men are a little more external. So I'm sure you could think of that in a multitude of ways psychologically, right?
Well, yes, it is true that women, and this has been studied, that women do have a richer internal life. And men are more externally oriented, more behavioral oriented. And this is why so many men are incredulous when they hear that they have all the power and the women don't, because they don't experience life that way. They see women as having a lot of power and of knowing themselves and having wonderful connections with each other. So it's really different kinds of power that we can blend together, the internal and the external power. So here we go. Thank you, Meredith Narissi.com, Narissi, author of 7 Veils, Mystical Secrets of a Feminine Path to Enlightenment. Many, many blessings, Meredith, and congratulations on your book. I know it's a life of time of work that has made this book happen, and it's wonderful.
Thank you, Duffy.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you for letting me be on your wonderful show.
My pleasure, Meredith. And this is Dr. Duffy Spencer saying goodbye for now and wishing you great relationships.